Hello, my name is Jesse Mecham with another episode of the Jesse Mecham Show, and I'm here each week to obsess out loud about you no longer obsessing or worrying about money, especially not at 3 a.m. The trick, the magic is to follow the YNAB method, and that is merely to give every dollar a job. If you want to know how good you are with money, a good reality check is to ask yourself if you've thought about money at 3 a.m. My last one that it was interesting because it related to really a big life decision we were making, and I felt myself drawn to go back to YNAB and just kind of get a pulse of things. What was I seeking? Clarity. And what you are lacking when you are worried about money is clarity. Is there enough? How will things work out? There's a strange noise coming from the car, and it moves from the front to the back of the car. My word, what is that? Or in our case, the dryer is tumbling, but when you open the door, there's no heat. And then the repairman comes, but he brought the wrong part. And so you're a few more days out still. But does that worry you? Are you wondering, where will this money come from for this repair? Or do you have clarity where you've given every dollar a job, and one of those jobs was just to wait for that Bosch dryer to go out? Now, to be fair, we've had it for a little while, so that's not a total knock on Bosch dryers. Maybe you have this nagging feeling of like, man, I've just been dipping into savings too much, or why can't I chip away at this debt, or whatever it is. The fact of the matter is, if you're thinking about it at 3 a.m., that means you're not sleeping at 3 a.m. when one is supposed to sleep. And, sleep is the new anti-aging whatever. So we need it. We do really know we need it, all jokes aside. If you couldn't sleep because you had a cold or some sore throat, you would take ibuprofen, you would throw a cough drop in your mouth, you would do something to help you sleep. But we people who worry about money, we will accept lousy nights' sleep for days, weeks, months, years on end because we suffer from this thing called worry. There was a recent survey done by Capital One, and they basically said 77% of people worry about money. And I wonder if the other 23% were like 8-year-olds, But fact of the matter is, if you might say, oh, Jesse, if I made more money, I wouldn't worry about money. That is not true, because YNAB sees plenty of customers who make plenty of money, make good money, and still were plagued by worry. So the medicine that we take to not worry about money is not to make more of it. You'll just worry about more money. I'm not going to say it's worse, but it's still there. So we don't do that. What we do is we give every dollar a job. You seek clarity. Imagine driving your car and you know there's a full tank of gas, right? You filled it up. But you also don't have a fuel gauge or a miles indicator. So you really have no idea how much gas you have left. At first, it would be fine because you just filled it up. You just got that paycheck. But if you don't have a gauge, something that tell you kind of what your status is, it would make you start to worry. And with money, it's the same thing. The paycheck rolls in. We're like, we just filled up. We're good to go. And then the worry starts to creep in because we don't have a good gauge. The bank balance is not a good fuel gauge for your money. A better gauge is something a little more granular, where you have jobs for all of your dollars. And you look at each one of those jobs and you say, is there enough fuel for that and that? And that? It's like you have a fleet of cars, and you got to make sure that every one of them is running optimally. Not optimally, aligned with your goals. So this is what we hear from YNABers all the time, whether they make a little or a lot. The common symptom that they had was they worried. They worried about their money. Why aren't I getting ahead? Why can't I get ahead? What's wrong? I'm now making better money. I don't get this. And then what they did, the medicine they took, was to begin to give every dollar a job. You walk through those 5 questions. Every time you get new money, and you start to just frame your decision-making appropriately around not the different uses for money, yes, but the different tenses of money. Like when in the future, When in the past, like how much debt do you want to pay down from the past? When like, hey, this is coming up now. And then you maintain some flexibility as you work those questions. Heck, one of the questions, the fifth one, is what changes, if any, do I need to make? So you maintain some flexibility, but you just give every dollar a job. You get that clarity, and you never worry about money again.